Welcome to the user level persistence scenario. So if you decided you want to go through the whole RTFM video series, starting at the beginning and crawling through all the different videos, then you may have already seen the user persistence section. I'm actually going to select one of those techniques for this scenario video, but I'm going to tackle it in a little bit different of a way. I want to show you all how to create playbooks. I think I've already mentioned this a few times, but you're going to actually see me do this in the scenario so we can all get on the same page with it. Now with that out of the way, let's jump in. We're going to be doing a user run key for our user level persistence. Now, I want you to immediately think through exactly what we have to do on the host to make that user run key work successfully. Now, there's two main ways we have to tackle this. Number one, we have to create a run key value to actually point at our uploaded binary. And then number two, we have to actually upload that implant to the host. So if you're hacking away, you're on a team, you've got a couple other colleagues next to you, if someone comes over and they're like, hey, you're going to go do this user level persistence. We need to log our activity. What exactly are you doing to the host? I want you to immediately think run key value and uploaded implant binary. It's very important you track all your actions you're taking against the host. Not only is it going to help you log your activities and be able to provide the customer with valuable feedback on how they can fix their system, but it's also going to be better tradecraft for you in the end because you're going to have a great idea of what you're doing against the target. If you end up uploading like 3 different hosts and making 4 different registry keys, that's just extra loud on the computer. Someone could potentially find that a lot easier than just the slim little number that you're going to be doing successfully. So those are just a few things to consider. It's all about the mindset as you're thinking through this stuff. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump in right now. So I've got Rogue Arena up and ready for us. If I do a sessions right here, you'll see right here we have Chicago, Phyllis Snyder. Phyllis is the one that initially clicked our payload. We now have access to her machine. We've already gone through processes. We've done our situational awareness. We probably checked our on and off limits lists to make sure this is a machine that we are legally allowed to assess. And now we're going to go ahead and jump in and do our user persistence. So let's do our sessions TAC I. We'll do 6C, 1F, 885 alpha. And again, Sliver is mainly command line based. In my opinion, if you get really good at using command line based applications, you can jump in on the big GUI based applications whenever. So definitely a good idea to learn Sliver. However, other tools like Cobalt Strike or Mythic, they are largely big GUI based, which makes navigating different implants, issuing commands, a lot nicer. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a PS just to see what's running on this box, just to make sure it's listening properly. Sometimes you'll lose connections to these implants and not even realize it. So I just did my PS. Everything looks really, really good here. You can see here, this is the Sliver implant that's running on the host. With that out of the way, let's go find a place to upload our binary. Now, our first goal is going to be to upload our implant to the target, but we want to find a really stealthy place that we can upload it to. If we put it on the user's desktop, they may find it. If we name it something really bad, like sliver.exe, probably not the best idea. We want to upload it as an executable name that if a defender stumbles across it, just through a quick check, checking file name, it will actually look like it belongs. So let's start looking through the target hard drive and find a good spot to upload it. Now, if you've seen me use Sliver before, you know when we're sitting at the screen, we have to use double backslashes. There may be a shorthand notation to get around this, but we're gonna roll with this for now. So double backslash it is. So we're gonna do Phyllis Snyder. Let's keep just digging down into her folder. Okay, so this is all her files. We'll keep going. I did increase the font here. That's why everything looks so big, but it should be easier for you all to see. So we'll app data. Let's just look in roaming. So if we go to the user's roaming folder, pretty cool. It'll actually roam wherever they log in their computer. So if you're in a big Active Directory enterprise, they're hot desking, logging into different machines, you want to be living in the roaming folder. So we're going to keep going on down. Adobe looks really, really cool. Looks like we have Flash Player. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to upload maybe adobe.exe. That should blend in really, really well. If a defender goes to the Adobe folder, Adobe EXE, nothing to see here, right? So let's go ahead. We're going to earmark this as our upload location. If you watched my intro, I said I'm going to do this with a little twist. We're actually going to be building a playbook. I think I've mentioned it in this video series already, but getting your commands right for the first time is really, really important. So we're going to build a little playbook that we can go through and just copy paste our way through, but kind of putting it all in a notepad, you're going to have a really good idea of the flow, what you're running first. You'll be able to find typos. It's a lot easier to find those in a notepad than in the actual remote access tool. So I would highly recommend doing this. I know I do it all the time in an op where I just want to make sure everything is perfect. So let's increase our font over here. And we have most of our upload path. Let's go ahead, we'll call it adobe.exe. And then I believe the command for Sliver is upload. Let's find that out together here. So let me cancel out this command. We'll do help. Awesome, a lot of these remote access tools are very similar. You can do help and then your plugin, it'll give you a nice little help here. So it looks like upload, local path, remote path. So I need to find where my implant is locally. Let's go to the desktop here. So let's find our local path. Again, I want to make sure I get this perfect. So I'm going to do a PWD. We're going to copy this whole path here. And then this is the one I want right here, fastelm.exe. So let's bounce back to our notepad, upload. I'm just going to paste it in exactly how I have it. Fastelm.exe. That looks like a great upload command. Now, kind of throwing back here, if you all have been going through the video series, right after my upload, what should I probably do before I go ahead and create my registry key and just move on, right? I really want to make sure I list out that folder just to make sure it uploads successfully. This is really important. So let me copy this whole location here. We're going to do an ls. We're going to list out the folder. So we're going to do our upload. We're going to list out the folder to make sure the file is there because, again, we always want to be sure about what we're doing, and then we can proceed with our playbook, right? I don't think Sliver has a timestamp plugin. Timestamp is awesome. It's included in Metasploit and a bunch of other remote access tools. I'm sure Sliver has some type of add-on module that allows you to do a timestamp, but what it does is it copies the file create, modified, etc., times from another file and applies those to yours. So you can actually make it look like your implant executable was actually uploaded, years ago, which can help it further blend into a file system. So definitely something to keep in mind there. We've got our upload, we've got our ls. Now we need to work on our reg add command. So let's pull up our RTFM here, zoomed in here so you can see it. You'll see here we have our add key, our query key, and our delete key. Everything you need to install and remove this persistence if you want to. So let me copy this reg add command. We're gonna bring it over to our playbook here. Make sure our quotes are fixed because that is extremely important. And then it looks like we have everything we need here. We have our reg add, HKCU, software, Microsoft Windows current version run, standard registry key. And then you have the WAC V flag to add a value. This is the name of the registry key value we're gonna be adding. I want it to blend in to the executable that it's referencing. So we're just gonna call this Adobe. We'll call it Adobe Updater. That sounds pretty awesome here. We're going to give it regSZ, reg string. WAC-F is the force option. And then the data we're going to send it is going to be the target file path. So we already know where we're going to upload it to the host, right? We want to upload it as Adobe EXE. So I can literally just copy, paste this down here. It's awesome. But please do not mess up your backslashes. It is very important that those are fixed properly. However, I'm going to show you right after this how we can verify that that target path is perfect. So this is huge. This is really important. I've taught hundreds of students in my day. This will save you in missions and in tests, in testing and everything. So let's make sure we get this right. So we got our reg add command here. We're probably gonna have to launch that through a shell with Sliver, so we'll get on that. I'm also gonna do a reg query because again, we wanna make sure it gets uploaded successfully. So we got our reg query of the run key. Awesome. Now we're all set. We've got our upload command ready. We've got our reg add command ready. Let's go ahead and execute our playbook. So I'm grabbing my path over here. One other trick that I promise every person will tell you, especially if you're testing on some certification, it's going to sound really obvious, but typically we always say, always check your output. Sometimes students will go through, they'll run all these commands, they won't actually read what's coming back, and it'll have some type of error there, and they just move on, and then they get confused why it didn't work. So make sure you read your output. As you can see, wrote file looks awesome. We're gonna go back to our playbook here. Let's do our ls command. Back to Sliver, paste clipboard. Awesome. Adobe EXE. Looking really good there. Again, if you had timestamp, I would go ahead and timestamp that created date back in the past. It's really cool. Now, I was about ready to jump into my reg add, but I actually noticed something I need to tweak on my playbook here. We're gonna wanna do a query before we do our reg add. We wanna see what keys already exist on the system for a couple of reasons. A, we wanna make sure we're not the only registry key on the system, right? We'd kind of stick out and that would be obvious. And B, we don't want to accidentally overwrite if an Adobe updater key was already there. So let's go ahead, let's do our reg query here. So we're gonna do our shell. Yes, we are an adult. Paste in our clipboard here. And awesome, this is a really good scenario. We already have 2 registry key values on the system, Microsoft Edge Auto Launch and OneDrive. This makes it even better for us. We're gonna blend in with a couple other keys that are already on the system. With the reg query done, we are now ready to add a registry key to the system. So let's come over here. We had a little typo, I think I fixed in this, yep. Now we're ready to copy and paste this over to our target. So we're gonna have to drop down in a shell again. Let's do shell, yes, wait for it to load up here. Let's go ahead and paste in our clipboard. Reg add looks great. Operation completed successfully. We obviously don't trust this. We want to do our query anyway. So let's grab our reg query. We're going to paste this clipboard in and it looks great. We're all ready to reboot this host, test it out and make sure it works successfully. But if you are watching really closely, I'm really impressed, but I actually made a typo here. Let's copy this path right here because this is what I'm trying to get at. This is what I want to show you. A really awesome way you can validate all your configuration changes before you actually rely on the system to go ahead and like execute the persistence, right? So we're gonna do a dir. I'm gonna paste in the exact path that I copied from right here. We're gonna hit enter. And then this should tell us, yeah, perfect. Get child item path not found. This means PowerShell was unable to find the binary at this path. I'm human, I make mistakes, I'm sure you do too. It's really easy to fat finger something on the keyboard and have a situation like this where there are 2 R's in roaming. That's bad, right? We don't want that. And we were able to find this mistake before we actually had the machine reboot, which is gonna save you a lot of time and help you in an operation. You know, if the user went home and shut down their computer, you would never see this callback again. So we wanna go fix this. Let's go back to our original pastable here. Make that edit. We're gonna go ahead and redo our reg add. If you look closely, our reg add actually already has the whack F option right here. That's force, so we know it's gonna overwrite the target. Completed successfully. We're gonna be a good red team operator and we're gonna come over here and query it again because we wanna make sure this is perfect. So again, re-grab our path. Gonna do our dir here. Awesome, so that worked successfully. We've added our key up to the host. We're pointing at the correct path. We even copy pasted to validate. Now, you know, Phyllis, she can go home, shut down her machine, and then when she comes in the morning, we're gonna get our callback. I actually wanna show you all kind of a sneak peek at Phyllis's workstation here. So let me go ahead, I'll pull this up for us. We'll do a little side by side. Let's do side. So we have our Kali on one side here. I'm gonna go ahead and exit this shell so it's a little nicer, and then I'll show you all the sessions that are available. So waiting for it to exit. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes to exit that shell. Now you can see Phyllis, she has a lot of different applications and other things open. Not a surprise, you know, she's doing her day job. She's on her computer doing her thing. But we're gonna actually go and reboot her machine and see what it looks like on the Sliver side and test our persistence, which is so exciting. So let's go ahead, we're gonna background her session. And then if I do a sessions, you should see a couple dead ones, right, from past sessions here, but then this is the one session that's alive. This is the session we just used to add all of our registry key information. So let's simulate, you know, Phyllis, she's done for the day. We're gonna do a restart, but let's pretend she shut down. We're gonna let this machine shut down, and if everything works successfully, we should see this session is gonna die, right? Because our machine's shutting down, that process is gonna die, but we should see when it starts back up and logs in, we should see a new callback come in. So yeah, perfect. I just did another query. You can see right here, It's dead. On the left side here, we're booting on up. We can even watch that boot up animation. And I did make a couple modifications to this system. It will automatically log in Phyllis. That way, you know, various VMs out there have people logged in that we can query, do our situational awareness, and check out. Logging Phyllis in right now. Let's check our sessions. We'll see. Okay, hasn't kicked off yet. Must still be performing the login. Sliver does take a little bit of time to stage, probably the increased file size on the output. Perfect. Take a look at that. We got a new session from Phyllis's machine. Let's do a little digging here. So let me do sessions. We'll do attack I for interact. We'll do F386 3CB9 here. Now that we're interacting with Phyllis's machine, I want to do a PS just to show you all what executable we're running out. So let's do Y, keep going here. Perfect. This is what I want to show you right here. Adobe.exe. This confirms that the persistence worked, the machine rebooted, and then our Adobe.exe called us back, all by uploading one implant, blending it into the target file system, and then creating a registry key value to point at that implant. I hope this scenario was helpful for you just to put all the context together on how to use user persistence. Definitely click through the next video and we'll see you there.